Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to Love Morning. I am John Halcyon. This is a part of Hug Nation. And I am once again just pleased as punch to have an opportunity to have a daily practice of gratitude. So if you're here, say hello, share your gratitude. And as always, I like to start with an impromptu song. We are here together today, and we have got so much to say. And if you're straight or bi or gay, you got gratitude in your heart. And if you don't know where it is, just keep on digging. Come on, sis. And if you don't know what I'm saying, just play your part. It's art. If I drink, I will fart. Welcome to Love Morning. Let's all do the thing that's smart and share gratitude and lift our attitude. Come on. Come on. Ba 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 ba. Good morning. Welcome to Love Morning. Ah, Yay! Razorblade was here to hear the song. Good morning. I do, I have mixed feelings when I use the word fart, but it rhymes so well with heart, and heart is such a perfect word for a Love Morning song. What's up, Kiri? Good morning. Ah, I'm feeling I'm feeling good this morning. I sent out a bunch of messages this morning to people that I talked to at the event on Saturday. Let some of them know how important the conversations were to me, and I felt good. I've already got some really warm responses from people. I think that's a really I will add that to the list of recommended practices of love ambassadors, and that is reaching out and saying, "It was really good to talk to you," or "Thank you for that conversation," or "It was so nourishing to spend time with you." This is a single sentence, send it into a text. Then if you have more, like this is what I sent to Betsy, who the Power Affirmation Journal is what you should check out of hers. Had a beautiful drop in. I said, "Oh, it was so good to see you. I wrote this about you in my journal." And then I sent her, "Had a beautiful drop in with Betsy. So blessed to be her friend. She is such a dedicated practitioner of her own teachings. She walks the walk and you can feel it. You can also see it. So many beautiful opportunities come into her life as she stays actively optimistic. Her affirmation journal, cards, and coaching all change lives. I love how she lovingly points out when my thoughts are working against my best self." I said, "I've been having a hard time with eating." And she said, "You mean you're getting better and better?" She says with a smile and a full wink. We discussed our future collaboration, and she said with full confidence, "I trust that we will find the best way to be of service." So I wrote that in my journal. So I was like, why don't I share that with the person I wrote it about? So I sent it this morning, and she was very touched, even said that it brought her to tears. Good morning, Zoe. Pink Fart. I should start the song with Pink Fart. I should start with Pink Fart. It'll hit you in the heart. Stay out of Walmart. Good morning, Gerbot. Good morning, Nika. Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Mingle. Oh, what a lucky man I am to have such beautiful spirits fill my mornings with their hearts and love and good vibes, and sometimes even a little bit of gratitude. So if you are feeling grateful for something, let it out. I got to tell you, I am grateful for Bill. A couple weeks ago, I mentioned meeting a guy in my alley who was walking very slowly with a cane. Looked like to be could be a very frustrating situation. Looked like he was working through injury or recovery in some way, very slowly walking. And as I approached him, he said, "Happy Hump Day." This was a few weeks ago. I said this, and it jolted my system with positivity. And I remember talking about it here and saying, "What? That guy's the love master." And I saw him today, and and I could tell, like as I approached him, he adjusted his whole walk so that he could turn as I ran by him. Like being a love ambassador, I think, is his first priority. Second priority is recovery with his walking. And so I stopped and I was like, "Good morning." He's like, "Happy Monday." And I just took him in for a second. I was like, "I'm John." He said, "I'm Bill." And I said, "Have a beautiful day." And he goes, "See you tomorrow." So I am grateful for Bill. I told myself that if on the way back I saw him, I was going to invite him to these gatherings because I think he would love it. He is one of us. I think part of the philosophy of love ambassadorship is that everyone is one of us, or maybe not that everyone, that there's countless sleeper cells of love ambassadors that are just waiting to be activated by our saying good morning. And I think whether he knows it or not, that's what Bill is doing. Good morning, Juan. Good morning, Natasha. Natasha is grateful for catching this grounding practice today. Kerabot says, one of us, one of us, one of us. Who knows what that's from? I don't think I've ever seen the whole movie, but I believe it's well, maybe I won't say it in case you guys want to play trivia. Natasha says, I am also grateful for a bill, but I'm moving in with mine on Thursday. Oh, I hope the moving is going well and you are dealing with all the emotions and physical and mental and spiritual obstacles of a move. The pink is pinkin'. I'm not sure if to what that is in referring to, whether it's my room or my hair, but I agree with you. Pink be pinking. I joined this Facebook group that's all about pink, and it's pretty active. Like I get a lot of posts, and some of it's great. Like people posting like pink wrapped cars, and some of them I'm like, whoa, really cool. But then there's like 30% of the posts are "God is great," written on a pink background. I'm like, okay. If I say human sacrifice is awesome, but I put it on a pink background, is that relevant for this group? I should try that. Actually, they get approved by the administrator. So I guess whoever makes this group is clearly Christian. Thank you, Nika. The one of us is from a movie called Freaks, I believe. At least that's how I know it from. That's right, Natasha. Yesterday was National Pink Day. It came up in my memories. And in that group as well, people are posting about it. Thank you, Nika. This shirt is just—it's a t-shirt from my store. I don't know if I offer this one anymore, but I just cut the sleeves off. I've been noticing that it's getting to that point in the sun where I will start, even if like a little walk in the morning, I'm starting to get like a red in my chest. So I'm trying to avoid getting my burnt chest. So the sleeveless allows me. And the other thing that, okay, I'm going to make a confession. First, let me say hello. Remind me that I've got a confession about shirts. Thank you, Gerbot. Sarah says, I'm so grateful. Oh, you heard the tune. Amazing. Good. Because I too was proud of that. Not the ending so much. I felt like it kind of lost a little bit of it, but you just got to charge to the end zone. Sarah says, I'm so grateful to pop on here after an amazing weekend at the Sawtooth Gathering Music Festival in Stanley, Idaho. Meeting new friends, dancing with good friends. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nika says, I also cut my shirts like that. So easy and trendy. I was really, I haven't worn this in a long time. And I'm like, you know what? I think I need to cut a few more t-shirts that are a little tight like this. A lot easier in the summertime for me to get a little breeze in. Okay, but here's the confession. Not really confession, just like thoughts that I have not made public. And I think part of my practice and journey is to try to be transparent. Okay, so if you have followed me for a long time, there is a lot of pictures of me with my shirt off. And for most of my life, if I had an option, if it's warm out, I've got my shirt off. I much prefer the feeling of being bare chested than having clothes on, especially if I'm hot, if I'm warm. So Burning Man, always shirt off. And part of that is because I felt proud of my body. And a big part of that is my genetics and, working out consistently as well, but also born with a advantage. But I enjoyed shirtless, wind on me, showing off my nipple rings. Whee! Although it's funny, I rarely even think about having nipple rings anymore. It's just such a part of my body. It's like, oh my gosh, I have fingernails. Duh. And I have nipple rings. Duh. They've been there for 30 years. Okay, getting off track. So a few years ago for Burning Man, I bought quite a few mesh tank tops because I was starting to feel like if you catch me in a uh, candid pose, there's a good chance my gut is just going to be hanging there. Like I could still pose in pictures with the lighting and do a bunch of push-ups beforehand and twist and get lighting. So I thought looked good with my shirt off. But just on your average walking around, not impressive. I mean, no one is going to go gagging, but just not as impressive. And then a friend of mine, last year, guy I really like and respect, he said, you know, you shouldn't have your shirt off in public unless you're jogging. That's just period. And I was like, oh, that has clearly not been my rule. And then I started thinking about how few people I see with their shirts off. And maybe there is this kind of societal understanding. Or maybe you only take your shirt off when you're, as a man, if you're really fit. And so I'm like, I don't see that many guys just letting it hang out. Not that it's never, but most guys exercising or taking walks, they do have shirts on or tank tops. And so as I am being more aware of my belly, being really aware of putting on a few pounds and having that seed planted of shirts, you should wear a shirt. I've been wearing shirts for my walks and I'm planning on wearing tank tops at the burn. And I guess I got to work on that vanity, that societal pressure, shame thing. I think I'm still struggling in that place of I haven't yet surrendered into aged elder, but I'm still holding on to a little bit of being sexy. And so when I have the opportunity to look better, which is, I know that's a super eye of the beholder kind of thing, but I still am getting caught up in when I can to be looking as attractive as possible. So I'm working on it. I know it's not where I want to be forever. I mean, I look at my dad and I look at my grandpa that I got to spend time with. I remember going to the jacuzzi with my grandpa, when he's 94, just looking at his body, and it's this beautiful, gnarled thing, but on a different spectrum than sexy. And so I am working on letting go of that desire to be sexy. I already have noticed an interesting shift where, there used to be a time when I would go to a party and, I felt like I was just oozing sexiness, partially because I was showing off skin and dressing in flamboyant ways, and I was in my kind of physical peak, and I felt like I might not be your type, but if you were a female and you were looking, I would be a prospect to you. At 53, I don't have that feeling anymore. I have the feeling that often I will see attractive women and go, I wonder if they have a single mother, you know, because that person is too young for me. And I'm pretty sure I would be gross to them. Actually, I mean, just to be clear, I'm not looking at single women now because I am super happy in committed relationship. But I think you know what I mean. Mm. And let me be clear that I'm sharing these thoughts that are going through my mind. That if someone came to me and said these things to me, I have all sorts of stuff that I would tell that person about our inner beauty and our comfortableness and how sexiness is about how comfortable we are in our skin, and that you can find someone attractive and incredibly sexy that has nothing to do with the shape of their body or the amount of cellulite and all that stuff. But these are we all have these internal stories about this. So I'm just working on my internal stories and internal perceptions, even though I know intellectually, you know, that they are not truth. I had a really powerful conversation. There's a woman that I worked with 30 years ago who is very evolved in her sexual comfort, and I just learned so much for her. And I remember her being so turned on by these bikers with pot bellies, and I was like, "What?" Like, she was a beautiful woman, and I was like, but sure. My good friend Otelia, she's always when I was kind of like confessing that okay, this burn, I'm bringing my belly to this burn. She's like, "Yes, I love your belly." I'm like, okay. Um, Old judgments die hard. Sarah says, "That's what I love about Burning Man. Sexy starts in the mind." So true. Oops. So true. And I see that in myself. I've made multiple videos about this. Like you see people walking in their power with bodies that are not like you see in a magazine, but with their fishnets and their tight shorts and their belly hanging over their hot pants, like, yeah, she is hot. That is a sexy human being. So I, it's the gradual dissolving of old internal judgments. Nika says, I had friends at the burn wearing costumes, and it was my first burn. I remember feeling anxious because I don't have their bodies, but also feeling like I got to be a part of this act. Oh, okay. There's a lot for me to digest in there. The word act and the word costumes are both kind of like, they make me want to address that. So I'm going to, hopefully it's okay with you. I'm going to use that as a way to talk about some other ideas, which is, um, to me, a huge part of the liberation of the burn is that hopefully you settle into a place that isn't an act, that you go, what would I really like to do? What would I really like to wear? So I don't use the word costumes. I use the word outfits. Because to me, a costume is like cosplay. I'm pretending to be something. I'm pretending to be a police officer. I'm pretending to be a comic book character. Whereas an outfit is an expression of a part of yourself. So if it is a policeman outfit, it's because I want to walk in that place of authority, or a Viking outfit. I just want to have that energy to myself, and I want to own it. That's why I feel like at the burn, like I'm dressed like a superhero. That's my superhero outfit, not a costume. I'm not pretending to be a superhero. I am, a part of me is a superhero that I'm giving it a stage, not to act, but to be and express and live as authentically as possible. And for myself, and I think for many people, that is a profoundly liberating experience, to been given permission to go past acting into embodying these trace elements of our personality or our values or our desires. Nika's talking about photo shoot vibes versus just taking a picture of being present. There's a lot to that too. I I love photo shoots, and I love kinda, like, getting into that part of my character. Like, people say, "Can I take a picture?" I'm always like, "Whoo!" And I'll credit a lot to, Julian, uh, who had a site called Super Snail for a while. He would bring out this white photo studio every year and to take tons of pictures of people. There's a book called The People of Burning Man that's a collection of his work, and he would do these photo shoots, and I'd never experienced this before. And he it's like an improv class where he's like, okay, now I want you to look really scared. Okay, now you're walking around a corner and you see a monster, and so you start going, oh, and so I really got to feel this experience of the difference between like posing for a picture and improving, acting, embodying an energy for the photo. And it was transformative. He doesn't do it anymore, but I used to look for him every year. And I actually did a project. If you have my book Protagonist, there's a page of the white photo project. And that was exactly, I totally stolen from, borrowed from, copying Julian. And so people would come to my house and I would have all these props and stuff. And I would say, grab, here, hold this hammer, hold this big sword, wear this funny hat. And I would throw pillows at him and stuff and get him, trying to capture an expression, a realness of something. And Nika saying, pre-planned stuff versus just wanting to dress. However, there are so many ways to radically self-express. It is a dangerous, a misunderstanding. It is a blight on our community when people make the assumption that a participant is someone who dressed crazy, because participation happens in so many ways. You can be a hardcore participant and spend your days as a ranger. You can be a hardcore participant and spend your days working on an art car, and you wear mechanic's clothes or clothes you don't mind getting grease on. And as you're walking out to the temple, someone's like, spectator, because they're wearing cargo shorts and a greasy shirt. And you're like, dude, you have no idea how this person is expressing themselves. And even if they're not, and they're trying to figure their way around it, it's like, let them settle and be genuine and authentic with it. There's a lot of unhelpful enforcement of how to be a good burner at Burning Man. So we need to all try to create a culture of inclusivity and compassionate, warm education. Even if you see somebody doing something that you're like, "Ooh, hey, hey, I just noticed that you were just throwing your cigarette on the ground, and just want to make sure, are you understanding how like leave no trace works and how that's one of the 10 principles? Here, let me get it for you, and just in the future, instead of like, motherfucker, leave no trace, fucking asshole." Because you know what happens when someone is on the fence if they know what they're doing and then you attack them? Do they turn into, oh, thank you, let me be better? They go, fuck you and your stupid rules. You see it all the time in culture. Attack someone for using the wrong pronouns, and they're like, fuck you guys. My pronouns are fuck you. Gerbot agreeing. Outfits for the win. Such a simple, it's one of the reasons why I'm open to people saying, I prefer this word or this pronoun or whatever, because I think that's an example of how the word choice makes you think about the concept differently. And there's a lot of ways in our language that can happen. So why not? Curie says, I'm also grateful that I don't participate in Burning Man snark, nor do I allow it to have power over me when it's directed my way. It's like snark and taunting and teasing is a very intimate type of communication. And it's it can be fantastic among trusted groups of friends where you know where you stand. I'll give you an example of some maybe snarky or teasing or the kind of, and hopefully this will come up. That this morning I'm trying to plan a trip with some friends, and now these are all straight identifying men. They're all married, and we were trying to find an activity and a date, and one of them said, "I'm up for anything, anywhere." And I said, I'm up for anything, anywhere? Well, there's some anonymous hookup site spots in the canyon by our house. Is that what you mean?" And that, like, there's places where generally gay men go park their cars, and you cruise, and you find another guy in a parked car, and you go off into the canyon and sexually, anonymously pleasure each other. So I said that to him, and he replied, "That's literally my Craigslist personal posting." And then I replied, "Dude, you stood me up twice." So if I was joking like that with someone that I didn't know, that would be uncool. Maybe it's a bad example because, yeah. Anyway, Gerbut says, I like a little bit of snark, like Daft Punk at the trash fence. Okay, this is good because so there's a difference between pranks and snark. Snark is kind of a teasing communication. Prank is trickery and hopefully in good fun. A prank, like, ideally you mislead someone or give them misinformation some way, trick them, and then when they find out the truth, they laugh. Snark or an unfunny, a non-prank, just being mean, is when you trick someone, say something to them, and they feel bad. But tricking someone to go to the trash fence and they realize, oh my God, I was gullible, I believed them. You got me, ha ha. That's I think that's fun. That's a part of the community, is like knowing that people could weave a tale at any time. Natasha says, I prefer my strap-on outfit, but is generally frowned upon in default society. You know, Obama. I don't know. I was trying to figure out who can we blame for the lack of venues that a strap-on outfits are appropriate. Juan says, I'm grateful for the freedom to live free. Oh, nice, Kerbot. You share the outfit video. Sweet. Nika says, someone complimenting my energy is the best compliment for me, even more than how I express myself outfit-wise, when someone sees your soul. Nice. A good reminder that, so I guess for Nika, energy is the best kind of compliment. Then I would guess is a choices or creativity that you express. And then the lowest, least be careful with is complimenting someone on a physical attribute. So saying, you got great legs, saying, I love your shoes, saying, like, you walk with presence. I love it. See that? The deet, deet, deet. Gearbut says, things like fuck your burn can turn a lot of people off. I'm not a fan of fuck your burn as a greeting. You know, I get that it's like just generally like anarchistic. But I've always been in opposition to the dark, destructive part of Burning Man, and I get that that is an important part of it, and for some people, that is an incredibly healing thing to have a place to be dark, fire, fuck your burn, but it just doesn't it's not the place that I want. I wanna be more playful, I wanna be more uplifting, so I will generally say, "Have a great burn," or, "I hope you have a great fucking on your burn. May you fuck well on your burn," something like that. No, I don't say that. Curious says, "I mentioned on a Facebook page that I lose my voice every year on flight." I saw that, and I asked for preventative tips. Singing is how I express myself, so I want to be able to do that. I was told to silence my voice. Oh, yeah, that doesn't sound like a solution. That's like saying, "How do I deal with my dry hands?" Keep them in your pockets. Like, yeah, okay, that's one solution. People laughed at your self-expression comment? Uh, the 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 online representation of burners is such a disappointment compared to the in-person vibe and communication that I experience. It's been that way for always. Somehow the snark and the taunting, the teasing is louder online, and there's less intimacy, so it doesn't work. Yeah. That culture doesn't resonate with me at all, says Carrie. Me neither. Like, I think the thing that people forget, or I don't know, is like most people that are going to the burn, especially that have been going for a long time, they need, or that what they crave is an environment like this, which is supportive, which is say, hey, the world is harsh and mean. Let's cheer each other on when we're weird. But if you have a fellow weirdo go, "Ah," it's like this is the scrimmage area. This is the safety zone where we get to practice and allow ourselves to be vulnerable and expressive. This is where we want our team, our family to be there to lift us up. Don't be one of the people that knocks people down and bruises them when they're in their most raw. Don't do that. Lift, lift, cheer, cheer. That is a huge part of what Burning Man community is about, or any community, but especially Burning Man, where we are saying radically self-express. Find your gifts and share them. And as people are figuring out who that is and what that is a scary, raw place. So we need to be the ones who are cradling them, lifting them, fanning their flames, amplifying their songs. If they stumble, get back up. No, 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 no. Keep singing, keep dancing. We go, oh, nah, snark. It has the potential to step on a little bitty budding plant. We want to water, fertilize gently, gently, lift one another until we have mighty, mighty stems. We have trunks. We are trees. And then we can be out in the world and take the eye rolling and snark. And we can just be like, aha, I am now strong enough to hold this weight and provide shade for the other seedlings as we grow. Be a helpful, supportive burner. Nika says, you guys are my safe space. Love you guys so much. Thanks for sharing and helping. Exactly. Curious, Dan, I also feel like people who say, if you can't handle snark, you don't belong at Burning Man, which isn't very radically inclusive. Yeah, that's just, I mean, consent is a huge part of Burning Man. So if you have a snark tent, or like if you were at, what do they call it, spectator camp, and if you walk through spectator camp, they're gonna yell stuff at you. Okay. But like, I want to choose what I want to experience. If I want to go to a 12-step meeting, we're going to talk about not drinking. I don't want someone like yelling at me that I'm some judging my drinking. or anything. Carrie says, I'm so grateful to know that culture isn't required everywhere at Burning Man in order to enjoy myself. Carebutt says, that's what I love most about Burning Man, that we all strive to make it safe, to make it a safe space to experiment with however weird we want to be. Right. And as weird as you can get, you're going to be out-weirded by countless people. And I think that's liberating to be like, when you see people just like, holy crap, they are out there. And then you're like, oh, okay. Maybe I will put a second layer of gems on my face, because after seeing that person who is, covered in mud and crawling around on the ground, and like, I don't think people are going to care that I've my angel wings, or I don't know, whatever you're choosing to do. Carrie said, someone said that snark is a verbal representation of the physical discomfort the playa creates, that it's meant to prime virgins for the environment that's trying to kill you. No, I don't think so. Not to me. I think that the harsh environment becomes a common obstacle that helps create community and family. We have a shared experience, the environment, a shared experience being outcast weirdos, a shared experience of experimenting with the 10 principles. Snark is not uniting. At the same time, radical self-expression does not need to follow the rules like a cult. But if you're going to go off on your own way, I think it is important that your self-expression does not diminish anyone else's, or make anyone else feel unsafe, or make anyone else feel like their expression is not welcome. Guan says the snark tank at Discopolis camp was fun last year. Kiri says a lot of people feel like snark is uniting. I don't think the person being teased feels that way, unless you're in a group of intimacy, which I don't think exists community-wide. You can have uniting snark within a friend group. That's what I'm talking about. Like offensive jokes is an incredibly intimate thing, because you're trusting that we know each other well enough to know where our heart really is. But that doesn't work at 80,000 people. You have to develop trust so that you can be mean within a container of love. Until you have that container of love and trust, meanness, snarkness is meanness, and is repelling, and is not a uniting force. I'm going to stand by that. Good morning, Shane. Shane says, I just came across your content a few days ago, and your older content directly addressed some fear I've been sitting with as I'm preparing for my first burn. Yay, Shane, I remember you. I just saw your comment. Good to see you here. Good morning. Hope we get a chance to hug at Burning Man. And that makes me feel so good that the old stuff that I've created is still being viewed, and YouTube is still serving it up. I've been trying to figure out how can I, or should I, repackage things so that they are seen in this new TikTok-y world. I've even been thinking, like, should I hire someone to take my old videos? And if you know someone or a service or probably that is a good place to take YouTube video and make it into reels and TikToks and stuff, feel free to let me know. I think that might be good. Because there's a lot of people making Burning Man videos now, but I'm quite biased, but I still prefer my voice. I'm glad you made it here, Shane. Shane's saying a lot of that fear has shifted to excitement. Yes. I mean, there's no way you can be prepared. The way I like to say it is, it's like studying and learning about Burning Man is kind of like learning about the Grand Canyon before you get there. Like nothing you read or view is going to prepare you for the spectacle. But if you do enough research so you know what shoes to wear for your hike in the Grand Canyon, if you understand the geology better, if you understand the weather patterns, and your experience there is going to much quicker and much more deeply be positive, and you'll far quickly become a resident or a feel at home for wherever you are. And I think that happens with Burning Man. The more you understand the principles, the more you understand your place in it all, the quicker you become a participant, the quicker you are part of what the city makes the city magic. And I mean, that can happen instantly. There's no like, oh, my second year, my third year, my fourth year. Now I'm really no. If you get the 10 principles, or at least you kind of get them, and then you get there and you see how people are interacting with you and talking to you, and you notice an opportunity to gift someone your time, energy, attention, you hold their flap down as they're trying to secure their tent, boom, you have now stepped into true participant, making the city better. And I think you do need to have a little understanding so to get to that dynamic quicker. Wow, it's 9:45. I usually don't talk this long. So thanks for everyone who is still here, or anyone who might be watching this archive. I think I might try to take a couple clips of this and make it into other clips, because I feel like there's been a few good things about snarkiness and others that might be worth archiving. So thank you everyone for adding your thoughts and your gratitudes, for being a part of this love morning, for being a love ambassador, for recognizing that you have the ability as you go through the world to spread good vibes, ripples of good, with just tiny acts of patience and gratitude and kindness to yourself and to others. You can be like Bill, who I saw this morning, who I'm still charged up because of the great attitude and hello and happy Monday he said to me as a stranger in the street. We can all be like Bill. From farts to snarks. Here you have a gift. So before we go, wherever you are, let's share a hug. So wherever you are, give yourself a big squeeze, letting the arms holding you be symbolically representing my arms, the arms of everyone here, everyone who's a part of this energy of shared understanding, of support, feeling safe in this space of community, feeling respected. As we hear other people speak, feeling a connection, feeling an amplification of our hearts and our gratitude. So let's take a deep breath and hold one another and feel that place of oneness. On behalf of dear Grandpa Caleb and all of us, thanks for being here for this love morning. Love you. Have an incredible day. And see you at home. As of this weekend, I am now declaring that I'm going to Burning Man this year. So prepare for a pink ride Thursday at noon, and more to come. Thank you, Razor Blake, Gerbot, Natasha, Shane, Kiri, Mingle. This did feel like a good chat, didn't it? Thanks, everyone. Happy Monday.